get that first job right out of college.
Primarily motivated by people, particularly helping people to become the best version of themselves.
Going to a counselor and working through family trauma growing up so I can be a healthier mom, spouse, sibling, daughter, Christian, professional. Definitely balancing being a mom and being a full-time employee.
The stress of growing up and being an adult is scary.
Typically the answer is relational conflict, but right now it's honestly just the possibility of relational conflict. I really love learning, like just straight up, I listen to so many podcasts.
Anything outdoors is how I refuel.
I love to travel, go on road trips, and I also am really interested in videography and photography.
Watch movies, hang out with friends.
And I always forget to say yoga and like fitness.
Helping others and seeing the joy that I bring them when I help them with any current situation they're in.
I think truly people and knowing and understanding someone and seeing growth in people.
Definitely seeing James hit mile markers is a huge satisfaction. Networking and bringing people together, that's a huge satisfaction that Clint and I both have as well together.
Moving out of my parents' house, moving here to Nashville, getting my first job, my life has changed so quickly in the last month.
Ever and ever caring less about what people expect of me.
So we adopted our son, James, in July. So he was our foster son for a year, and then we adopted him. By far the biggest change recently and really at any point in my life that I've gone through. Clint is my closest friend. I have known Clint for 15 years.
Her name is Natalie. She was my freshman roommate in college.
It's Jenna, and I've known her since I moved to Nashville a little over 3 years ago.
Very single.
In a relationship. It's very new, so.
Answers itself.
Obviously.
I don't have kids.
I want as many kids as I can afford.
I have a son. Hey, James.
I feel really excited to be a mom, and I feel honestly a little scared that I'm not going to be.
I eventually want to have kids, whether or not it's having my own or adopting.
The biggest way it's changed is that life cannot be lived just doing what seems like a good fit for Clint and me in any moment.
My relationship with my parents have grown stronger, especially during this time in my life being out of college. They have been a huge support from every decision that I've made.
My parents have always been unconditionally supportive and very loving. I never felt very known by them as a child. A lot of my work as an adult in getting to know myself and like self-actualization, a lot of my own inner work has been sharing that with them with the hopes of them understanding, but really with the openness that maybe they won't, but I have some impetus on me to create the relationship that I want with them.
I grew up in a very enmeshed family, codependent, not good. Closeness that could have been a beautiful thing did become like too much codependence. And so now, as adults, I think are working towards having greater wholeness around what it means to not have to agree with one another. It's so difficult to, I think, have a good, healthy relationship with your parents as an adult. I think Clint has impacted me a ton. He really has challenged me to think through my faith in a different way, in a healthier way, and has always challenged me to pursue like grad school and pursue my profession that I wanted to, and he's like been very empowering of me.
I would say my mom has had the biggest impact on my life. Just seeing the way that she loves on people and what she has taught me growing up in the church is to be a good example, and I definitely see that light in her shine everywhere that she goes.
The first person that came to mind was my youth minister, Anna. She's the first woman I've ever seen ordained. I was actually part of her ceremony. She's always been a mentor and a voice of like freedom for me.
Making decisions, there are a lot of decisions to be made every single day. Just being able to make the right decision and hoping that whatever I decide works out in the future.
I've learned what I need, and I've learned that it doesn't always look like what everyone else needs. It doesn't always look like what I think I should need, and I've learned how to ask for what I need and create what I need in my life in order for me to really flourish.
What a true good leader looks like is something that has been forming in me for 15 to 20 years since I've been in seminary and then coming out of that. The way that I interact with others on every level is impacted by my view of leadership. And the people that have impacted me most are leaders who can always apologize and precisely press into their brokenness as a part of their leadership.
Every decision that I've made has been for a reason, and I definitely don't regret any of the decisions I have made.
No, I have a firm no regrets policy.
I mean, my family's gone through a lot of trauma. I have 2 sisters who are abused. If I could do anything, I would go back in time and rewrite that part of our family's life because it's impacted us. I mean, we are a very broken family now because of it. So my biggest regret, I think, is being in a context as a family where that happened. Have I mentioned James? So definitely James.
It has to do with the job that I am going to be starting soon. Just having those expectations from the employer to do the best that I can do.
Yeah, being a parent is a huge responsibility.
I'm the college minister at my church, and that is a really heavy responsibility to me that weighs on me, I think, a healthy amount and then also an unhealthy amount. 10. I'm wildly energetic.
I have a 15-month-old in my life. It's more like 5 or 6 on a good day.
A 9 or a 10. I have a lot of energy.
Whether or not to date the person that I'm dating.
We have to be when we said yes to taking James as our foster son, knowing that his case would probably become an adoption case. So we knew when we said yes, we were probably saying a yes forever.
Whether or not I wanted to move back to Nashville or move somewhere else. 4 or 5 times, if not more.
Like 4 or 5.
I mean, we have friends over probably more than we leave the house to another life stage because of having kids. You start to have people over more versus going out. Either with James or getting a sitter, we'll probably go out 1 night, 1 or 2 nights.
0.
5 or 6. Enough to get really annoyed with the current administration.
I feel interested, but I never follow through with that interest. So my interest level is like 8 or 9, but I don't know as much as like someone with an 8 or 9 interest level. So many things. One, when I was a teenager, also for a whole season of life, being in ministry in the Southern Baptist Church as a woman was very traumatic. So that was 23 to 27.
Yes, I have had something traumatic happen in my life. I was around 19 years old. It was the summer of my freshman year of college.
Definitely would be the abuse that happened within my family. The abuse that started with my sisters was when I was like in toddler, and then it was up through the, like high school. So I don't know that there was ever a time in my life when there wasn't sort of a double life being lived.
I am thinking that I would like to be married around 27 or 28.
Tomorrow?
I was 25. I am an executive director of a nonprofit called the Nashville Fellows Program.
I recently just got a job at Raise the Roof Academy, a nonprofit.
I am the college minister at St. George's Episcopal Church. I am a bartender at Black Abbey Brewing Company. I also teach yoga, and I take care of other people's dogs.
Realizing the kinds of resources that I had in the job field wasn't necessarily the right connections that I needed to get the kind of job that I wanted.
I actually didn't feel a huge transition because a lot of it, I already assumed a lot of those adult responsibilities as a college student and a grad school student. Maybe the biggest difference would be learning those rhythms of healthy community, I think is an important part and can be a really sort of staggering part of coming out of college into real world.
I fully lived in the college bubble. So having relationships with the depth and intentionality that I had in college readily available to me, that was a really big adjustment.
I would definitely say my needs were met as a child. I remember my childhood being something very positive and happy, and nothing really tragic happened.
All in all, I mean, I had my basic needs met in a way that many kids don't, so that's a blessing. But there were nuanced ways that I did not, that I'm just now actually owning and working through.
No, whose are?